In this video we're going to show you how easy it is to create your own sales reports in Dynamics NAV using BVXL and Excel pivot tables. So I'll start up BVXL and we're going to analyze the sales invoices of Kronos Limited, the Dynamics NAV demonstration company. So I'll select the data cube for sales invoices, and here I have my list of fields on the left. Now we're going to create two reports. The first will be sales by customer, so I'll put the customer name here and the sales amount here. And I'll show everything in round pounds. And we get an Excel pivot table showing total sales by customer. Now I want to break out this amount for total into weekly sales, so I bring up the field list. And today is 31st of Jan 2010, so we've got 5 weeks here, but I'm not really interested in the first 2 weeks of January, so I'm going to remove them from the report. And there's my report. So let's tidy this up a bit now. And I'll give myself a style. I like blue. And I like banded rows. Okay, so here's my report. Now the first customer is Antarcticopy, and we see they made sales of 3999 in week 4, but I'd like to know, well, what were the products they bought in that 3999? So we'll add that to the pivot table. So I right click for the field list, and I'll just stick the item below the customer name. And I'll have a compact layout for this, I think. And we're back to where we were a moment ago, but now we have a little cross against each customer name indicating you could drill down. So if I click on it, we see the products in there were the glass door in Innsbruck and Mexico and a Rome guest chair. Now at Kronos we also have salesmen, so I'd like to include them, see how they're doing. So again, right click, field list. So how's Peter Sado doing? Not very well. What about John Roberts? Better. Okay, so that's our first report then, sales by customer, and we'll give it a name. And now we've built this report, all we have to do from now on is click on this refresh option each day. BVXL links your copy of Excel direct to the underlying NAV database, so refreshing will bring all the new transactions into the report and the figures will be automatically brought up to date. Now the easiest way to make a new pivot table report is just to copy an existing one and amend it, so we'll do that now. And we'll rename it product. Now to create a product sales report, I'm going to need to bring in item number and product type. And it's my retail items I'm interested in. And for this particular report we're going to need to use the tabular layout. Right, so here we have a list in part number order of my product sales, but I'd like to see them listed in my big sellers at the top. So I'm going to amend the sort order here to do that. And we see that the biggest selling items so far are the Grenoble whiteboard, followed by with 166, followed by the Olympic 105. Now, so far we've reported in sales value, but here at Kronos, our products sell at widely different profit margins, and we really need to see profit margin on sales, not just sales alone. So I'm going to add costs and margins to this report now. So I'll bring in cost per line, and I'll bring in margin per line, and I'll remove the week number and I'll bring in month instead, just here. And we now have these three figures. We've got sales amount, cost amount, line, margin. But first I need to format the numbers. I'm just going to show in round thousands to one decimal place. And I'll just narrow the column headings too. Now, when we see the margins, the picture changes completely, because Grenoble may be the biggest seller, but it's Olympic which is earns the biggest profit by far. And we can validate that when we calculate margin percentages. So let's do that with a pivot table formula. And it's going to be margin divided by sales amount, and we just need to reformat that to percentage, no decimals, and we see that the profit margin on the Grenoble was a miserable 14%, whereas on Olympic it was a respectable 35%. So very briefly then, I hope that's given you an idea of what you can achieve in Dynamics NAV with pivot tables. They really are fantastic things. It's not difficult to learn them, you just have to get the hang of which fields to put into which of the four boxes. But to use them successfully, you have to work with data that has been specifically organized for pivot tables. And that's what BVXL gives you. Thanks for watching.